Hi, I'm Dr. Shikha Sharma, and today I'm going to be talking about the human metavirus, pneumonia virus. So, this particular virus is becoming very common, especially as this is the winter time. And during the winter time, it is more common to have infections due to viruses which affect your upper respiratory tract or lower respiratory tract. So, what is human metapneumonia virus like, and what are the symptoms, and how do you protect yourself? Is what we are going to be talking about. Firstly, this virus, like all it's an upper respiratory tract virus, which affects the upper respiratory tract, which is your nasal tracts, which is your uh, behind the nose, your tonsils. Till the tonsils and the upper area. If this goes down, then the lungs can get affected. But normally, this is the upper area. That means what are the symptoms you'll have? You'll have congestion, nasal congestion. If the nasal congestion stays long, then you can have sinus problems. You will have throat problems and you will have cough. So these are the typical symptoms. And of course, along with it, you will have a sort of a fever and you might have some pain, but you might also have rashes. So this is the collection of symptoms which you'll feel, which you will experience with this human metapneumonia virus. Now, when I will talk about two situations. One is when this you have got this infection and you're getting the signs and symptoms, and it's getting worse and worse. And what happens? Which is like without any when it's going bad. And then we'll talk about you get the virus infection and what should you do. And the third we'll talk about how not to get this infection and what are the kind of preventive measures you can take. So let's talk about you've already got the infection. You have nasal congestion, you have fever, you have rash, you have cough. What do you do? So the first thing is you have to have a lot of warm fluids. So drink at least 10 cups of warm water, and to make sure that you are continuously hydrating yourself and also kind of detoxifying your nasal tracts. That is one. Second thing is do gargles with salt. I do not recommend gargles with chemicals. Gargle with salt water is the safest and the best because it can be done even without a medical prescription. So do salt water gargles with warm water. Another tip which I give is when you're doing the salt water gargles, what you can also do is you can put a pinch of turmeric in the salt water and do gargles with that because turmeric is also antiviral, and that is why adding that little bit of turmeric is really going to help you to make sure that you recover faster. Next thing which I'll say is have warm soups at least twice a day. And if you don't have a problem with garlic or onion, make sure you add crushed onion and crushed garlic because both are antivirals by nature. In case your religion or your faith doesn't allow you eating garlic because a lot of Jains don't eat onion and garlic, in that case you can make a decoction or a kada in which you put tulsi, you put black pepper, you put cinnamon, you put ginger, and by adding all this, just boil the water till the color becomes very dark, and this is or it reduces to 50%. Like suppose you have started with 4 cups of water, now it's only 2.5 cups. That's the time. Take it off the flame and slowly sip this with a little bit of honey. That is also excellent for the upper respiratory tract. If in case you have fever, don't be very quick to start having painkillers. If the fever is mild, you can do tepid sponging. That means just with normal water, just do sponging on your head on so that you don't need too many chemicals. Mostly, it is better not to take too many chemicals if the symptoms are mild. It's only you need treatments which involve chemicals when the treatments when the symptoms start becoming worse. Then, of course, you may need hospitalization also. So, if you have a rash, of course, then the rash normally goes away on its own. If it's not spreading, just make sure you don't scratch it. Uh, but otherwise, with viral, the rash also goes away on its own. But of course, if the rash is becoming bigger, it's important to consult a dermatologist and take the treatment or the medicine advice. But in normal people, it is very mild. It is just congestion, sore throat, cough, and all these can be handled at home without too many chemicals in your in your body. Another thing which is very important is that make sure you're following the right diet. Do not compromise on your diet. Do not start eating anything and everything just because you're sick. Because a lot of people I've seen, they eat chocolates, they'll start eating chips, they'll start eating instant noodles just because they're sick and they want some comfort food. There is no time for comfort food if you have a virus, because it's only going to make matters worse. So, what are the things you should typically avoid? You should avoid pizza because cheese and white flour is a deadly combination for the gut. You should definitely avoid anything which is processed, which could be chips, which could be any biscuits, which could be anything, because these things also are deadly for your gut. Third thing you should definitely avoid is dairy products. Please don't have milk, sour cream, curd, yogurt, especially if you have upper respiratory tract infection. It just doesn't work, it goes against it. So avoid those things. What are the things which are good for you? Warm soups, vegetable soups, these herbal spices which I told you about, which is ginger, tulsi, cinnamon, which is black pepper, uh, and turmeric. So all these things are excellent. You can take them as a decoction, or you can make them into a soup, and them to a soup, and they're quite delicious. Lemongrass soup is very good. You can inhale a little bit of peppermint oil. So what you can do is on a clean hanky or a cloth, you can put few drops of peppermint and just inhale that. It is very good for opening up the nasal tracts. Even the lemongrass oil is quite good. It opens up the nasal tract. So do these natural therapies. Take steam. Steam is a wonderful thing. Very simple to do. Can be done anywhere, doesn't cost a thing. So take steam twice a day to open up the nasal tracts, and that is wonderful if you wish to stay healthy and if you wish to get rid of this virus soon. Now that is track one. Now track two is in case you are getting severe symptoms. If you're getting severe symptoms, of course, one more thing which I want to add is for immunity boosting, take amla powder or amla juice every day. Now, amla juice can be a little sour, so it is best to mix it with some bit of natural fresh fruit juice or natural fresh apple, beetroot, carrot juice. So, in your apple, beetroot, carrot juice, which is your ABC juice, just add another A, which is amla, and have that every day. And that shot of your health shot can go a long way in helping you stay healthy and boosting your immunity. Now, track two is if you've fallen already ill and it's getting worse. The first thing I would say is consult a doctor. And if the doctors, whatever the doctor suggests, nebulization, whether it is the medication for fever, for pain, for antibiotics, whatever the doctor suggests, just go ahead with it. But make sure don't eat junk food by the side. Eat healthy, which is lots of soup. So I'll be talking about what nutrition you can take if the patient is becoming serious. So first thing is eat light. Keep your stomach light. Don't eat heavy stuff. Don't eat bread. For God's sake, don't eat bread. Bread is all white flour, or even a brown bread still has white flour. A whole wheat bread also has significant amount of white flour or refined flour. So make sure don't go and start eating bread and soup. When you just have lots of soups, keep your stomach light. Don't have dairy products. Don't have curd. Don't have cheese, and don't have heavy protein, because heavy protein is also heavy to digest. So it's harder for you to absorb that. So going on a soup diet is the best. Vegetable soups with ginger, with garlic, with black pepper, with turmeric, with so all these spices along with vegetable soup is the best thing. You can add a chana soup, which is also excellent for this condition. Now the next thing is how to prevent. So if you want to prevent, there are a couple of things which are done. First is do alternate nostril breathing, because it makes your airways clean. It opens up blockages, prevents any virus from depositing and entering the deeper tissues. So do anilom vilom every day. It is alternate nostril breathing, left to right, right to left. Number one. Number two, do Jal Niti. Jal Niti is a Vedic technique in which you take a Jal Niti pot which has a spout and then add lukewarm water and enough salt so that the water tastes like tears. Like, tears are salty, only that much salt you have to add. And then with Jal Niti pot, you bend your head and pass the water from one nostril to the other. And the same thing, you bend your head, water goes in and through the other side. It's the basically cleansing. It's cleansing your nasal tract, and that helps you to uh, basically clean out the viruses which are every day getting deposited in your nasal tract. Wear a mask whenever you are traveling or in a public space. Wear a mask. Avoid touching your hand to your nose. Do not do that. Avoid touching your hand to your face, because when we touch so many surfaces, uh, those surfaces have virus and bacteria, and then when we touch our nose or our face, it goes inside. So avoid doing all of that. Another thing which is very important is that take steam inhalation. Now, steam inhalation, all doctors would suggest. Steam inhalation is something which is very, very popular and common, and it's very effective. So make sure you take steam inhalation, because that will really help you to cleanse your tract. Some people, I would suggest that in a clean hanky or a cloth, put few drops of peppermint oil and inhale it. That's also very helpful because inhaling peppermint oil, it clears up the tracts. It's good for your tract. Another thing which is very useful is something which is a Vedic technique. It's called nasya, oil insufflation in the nose. So what you do is take few drops of virgin almond oil, organic virgin or almond oil, or organic ghee, liquefy it and put few drops in each nostril. Now this oil goes inside and coats your nasal tract, the epithelial lining, with this oil film. And then pollution, virus, bacteria are unable to infiltrate in through your nasal tract into your deeper epithelial tissue. So this also works as a physical barrier, and it also, because a lot of people have a dry nose, and they have, because of the cold air, they get bleeding in the nose, they damage, and it also compromises the epithelial lining. So it's also good for that if you are doing oil insufflation in the morning, then it really helps to keep the nostrils clean. So these were the three techniques which I've explained. One is for mild symptoms, second is for the serious, and third is for prevention. So I hope that with this you would be able to pick and choose what you think works best for you and prevent the disease from coming in, or if you have the disease, at least you can manage it better and heal and recover better. Always remember, your body is made out of food. So food is healing, because food is the basic ingredient of the recovery process. Your body can recover if the raw material, which is food, is right. So use food as medicine. And of course, if you if you find this interesting, do like and subscribe. And subscribe to the channel, because we keep posting interesting videos about current health conditions.